All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about a custom music production folder. Now, if you guys do want to use the FL Studio built-in one, I just want to share this with you, and I'm sure a lot of other DAWs are very similar. So FL Studio has it in their documents, or in our documents, and you go to Image Line, and you're going to go to FL Studio. I usually just hit F until I find it. So there's FL Studio. And essentially this is your area for being, for your projects. If you want to put your projects and stuff like that, you can do this. It makes it really easy because if you ever want to transfer your computers, you can just essentially bring over this FL Studio folder. It's essentially like yours. But like I said, FL Studio has changed this in recent years. And I do think that it's improved from what it originally was. So you can take this approach, but I want to share my own custom music folder approach, and let's just get started. Okay. So I'm just going to right click. We're going to go new. We're going to go folder. Okay. Now let's just call it music folder. All right. This is your custom music folder now. So inside this music folder is where everything pertaining to your music lives. So for example, sounds, projects, if you work with clients, okay, and even if you have other things such as like templates or kind of unique things to your music, I would go something like assets, okay? Now, you do not want too many folders in here. You don't want it getting unorganized. You want to keep it really, really simple. So the first place I'm going to start is projects, okay? So when it comes to a project, each project should have its own folder. Now, for me personally, I like to work in beat tapes, okay? So I'm just going to show you this quickly. So let's go beat tapes, vol 1, let's say, okay? Now you can right click and go new and folder, but you can see how long that takes. So I'd go Control, Shift, and N. Again, you can see all my keyboard shortcuts right there. And so 2, all right? If I wanted to go another one, 3. So what happens is let's say we go into beat tapes, vol 1, okay? So I would go... So beat tape vol 1 artwork, right? I would go mixed, and then I would go mastered, and there you go. Okay. So now in the mixed, this is where song name 1 goes. Okay. Song name 2 goes, song name 3 goes. And so inside of here, I'm just going to bring, I just have an FL Studio project. So let's just go, song name 1. Okay. So let's just make this a little bigger so we can see this. Okay. So we are in, let's head back. Okay. So we're in the music folder. We're in projects. We're in beat tape 1. We have artwork that's pertaining to that beat tape if you're going to release it publicly. We have the mixed. We have all the songs. And then here you also want to go song name sounds. Oops. You want to make sure that you have backed up the individual sounds for this project in case you ever delete any of your other sounds. You know that this project is good to go. Okay. So watch this. If I have, let's just go new. And what I'm going to do is let's just add in a kick. Let's just add in a clap. Okay. So we have kick, clap, clap. And so we're going to go file. We're going to go export. And we are going to go project data files, okay? And so this window opens up in FL Studio. And so since we are, let's say, in song number 1, we're going to go projects. We're going to go to mixed, song name 1. Here's the sounds. And so this is where we're going to select the folder. And I'll just have this folder open right here. We're also going to be into sounds. Okay, so you're going to see in here, it's going to be populated with those 2 sounds. So select folder. Let's send it, and here we go. So we have the clap, we have the kick, and so we have a song name. We also have the sounds, and this is how I've done it. Okay, I have the song name outside of it. And we have the sounds. If you ever move computers, you open this up, you have a problem, you can easily just drop this in here, and you're good to go. Okay, you can open this up; it'll quickly load all your sounds in. I just like it outside; it just looks a little bit cleaner. And so that is how I organize the project. So every single project gets its own folder. Okay. Now, if you don't release beat tapes, you can just release, for example, you can go like unreleased, and you can have like released or something like that. And everything inside of released, that, these are out there. such as on SoundCloud or on Spotify, wherever you've listed it. Unreleased, this is where you can be really unorganized, but you still want to have a song name, right? You always just want to list a song name, and you always store the file in there. And I'm telling you, you'll be so organized because you know that, well, these are all the unreleased tracks. There's not a big deal, right? They're all in here. They're all unreleased. The released, well, these should be a little bit more official. Like I said, if you have artwork, if you've mixed it, if you've mastered it, okay, this is a very, very pro tip. I'm telling you, if you want to get really organized. Now, I want to quickly talk about your sounds. So we have drum kits. We also have VSTs, right? Or VSTIs. But essentially, I just put my virtual instruments and my effects in here just for convenience, okay? So let's say we had drum kits. Now, purchasing drum kits has changed over the years. I don't want to go too much into it, but essentially there is no standard when it comes to purchasing drum kits. Like there's no real governing body which is saying, yes, this is quality, this is not quality, okay? And so I just want to tell you guys from doing this from a long time, there are premium drum kits, which as soon as you experience a premium drum kit, you're like, wow, like it just allows your drums, like your drum loops just to sound awesome. But this is how I would do it. So let's just say we have company one. Okay. So whatever this company is, let's say you've purchased from 2 different companies. And for me personally, I like to purchase a drum kit where like you are getting, 100 sounds and you can go through them individually. I understand there's there's new innovation of how you buy sounds. For me personally, I've always liked just to get, for example, let's load up FL Studio. As you can see, I've always liked a drum kit like this. When you're purchasing from a reputable sound kit vendor, all of these sounds, not every single one is good, okay? But generally they are pretty half decent, and they allow you as the beat maker to be very, very versatile. You are able to just select different sounds nice and quick. And as you can see, look how many kick drums there are. And they are quite high quality, okay? This isn't like a review or anything. I'm just showing you that. See, when I make my beats, look, if I want 808s, there's my 808s. If I want short-tailed kicks, there's my short-tailed kicks. So it's all about variety and quality. That's what I always tell you guys. And when you have your sounds laid out like this, it allows you to make beats so fast, such high quality. You have to remember the audio industry has not changed much in like 40 to 50 years when it comes to the actual quality of the audio that we're hearing. Okay, so you have to know that. And when these other companies have come in and they're trying to sell you, oh, this is the new way to do it. Well, audio hasn't really changed much, right? So they're just trying to sell you on a certain way to do it. But I'm telling you that this is like the old school way to do it. This is like the awesome way. You're so fast, you're so organized, you're just good to go, okay? So let's come back to here. So we have company 1, company 2. Now let's say you purchase 3 drum kits from company 1. So it would be drum kit 1, and then it'd be drum kit 2, and it would be drum kit 3. Now, what happens is the company, if you are purchasing from a good company, if you go to drum kit 1, they should have it all organized for kicks, claps, snares, hi-hats. They should already have that organized for you. If they don't, you're not purchasing from a good, reputable sound kit vendor, okay? And so like I'm saying right here, you can see that organic drum kit, this is what it would be like. So if we come to company 1, it would be organic drum kit. You come into organic drum kit and it would have kicks, snares, hi-hats, claps, and you're good to go, right? You can see here on the side, survival drum kit, urban heat. So for example, let's just say we just kind of follow that because it'd be nice and easy. So urban heat drum kit. So remember, we are in company 1. Company 1 has, let's say, urban heat. Company 1 also has organic drum kit. Let's just say, okay, so you've purchased 2 from them. You're really organized. You're good to go. They have already organized it for you. As you can see right here, they've organized it, right? There's no need for you to go and reorganize what they've done. That's going to take way too much of your time. Now, let's say you purchase from another company. Let's say you find another company, another reputable vendor. They're now company 2. They're going to do the same thing. Drum kit 1, right? And then, inside of here, it should be kicks. It should be claps. It should be snares. Okay. So if you're not purchasing from reputable drum kit vendors, then, this is the standard. And I'm telling you that the industry they are trying to change it, But I'm telling you that this has been the amazing workflow. If you guys check out my beats, I'm telling you that my beats are very versatile. Each beat is very unique, very different. And if you want to know why, it's because I can just quickly select sounds. It allows me, if I want big drums, short drums, different snares, different claps, different hi-hats, it allows me as the beat maker to be super versatile, okay? Okay, that's our drum kits, VSTs. Now, this is how I do my VSTs, okay? So again, let's say you have purchased some VSTs from companies and not even purchased, let's say even acquired free. So I'd go FabFilter. So this video is not sponsored, okay, by any of these third-party, companies I'm talking about. I'm just talking that, we've already talked about FabFilter, and I'm just going to include it there to give you an example. But another company I showed you was Sylenth One. So Sylenth One is actually by Lennar Digital. Okay, so what I would do is inside of Lennar Digital, I would go Sylenth One in case one day Lennar Digital creates a new product. Let's say we go Xfer Records, the makers of Serum. So they do sell other VSTs than just Serum, but inside of here, I would go Serum. Okay, so for example, if we're in FabFilter, I would just do this. This is the executable file, which means that let's say we want to transfer our computer to a new computer in 5 or 6 years. If they have never updated it, you can easily install this and get back up and running. All right. So it's nice to always keep the most recent executable file. For example, if you have updated your plugins, keep the executable file and keep this updated. The next thing is I just put a pretend license in here. Okay. But so for example, you can put like a code like this many times, like that's like what like they look like, or provide a link to the website nice and fast right here. Like, sometimes they have a special place if you want to activate your license or something. This is where you're going to put it, okay? I'm telling you, this is a workflow thing. All right, so for example, let's say we're talking about Serum, okay? So in Xfer Records, watch if we click in here, I've loaded in the files here. So inside of Serum, this is what it would look like for you. So you have the executable file. There's also, this is just how Serum does it, but I guess like there's two, but usually there'd just be one. Okay, so depending on how your VST installs, okay, you're just going to want to have your executable. But I guess if you already had Serum installed, there was also like an update. So I made sure to keep that as well. This is the VST2 format, but many times if you install, sometimes there is a VST3, and VST3 has to be stored in what's called the Commons Files folder. Okay, so it can't stay here. But I do keep the VST2 right here, which just makes it nice and easy. And then again, I have my pretend license right there. Okay, so if I ever have to reinstall Serum, I could just put in this pretend license and I'm good to go. And then these presets were just presets which I've created over the years, and I just kind of keep them there just for a nice backup. Okay, and so let's go back to this music folder. So there is the sounds. I talked to you about the drum kits. It should be laid out like this. You don't need to go in there and organize it any more than what they've done. I'm telling you, it is such a good workflow. And when you go by company and then just throw the drum kits in there, you're organized. You're good to go. You know where the sounds are. Over time, you start to learn where your sounds are for your drum kits, okay? For VSTs, I just do it this way. Right? We keep the executable file. You also, I like to keep a license in there. You don't have to, but it does allow you just to speed you up tremendously. Otherwise, what you have to do is you have to log into each website and get the license. If you transfer to a new computer, I'm telling you, it takes a long time. Okay, so that's the VSTs. We talked about the projects. Again, sorry, my bad. So it'd be like this. So it'd be like albums and then beat tapes, okay? And then beat tapes would all be within here. That's my bad. And then album, it would be like album 1, right? Album 2, and then again, the same thing. So inside of album, you would go album 1 mixed, okay? And then album 1 mastered. So in other words, this mixed is where you would go song name 1, and if you had an FL Studio project, this is where you're putting it, and then you also go song name 1 sounds, and you back it up, okay? I'm telling you, it is so worth your time to do it this way. because if anything ever happens to your drum kits, like for example, let's say for, down the road, you're like, do you know what? I don't want this drum kit anymore. And you just delete it. It doesn't matter to your other projects if you've backed up those sounds. All right. And so essentially that is my workflow. All right. That's my music production folder. This has allowed me to be so organized. It doesn't matter what the music program does, right? Like for example, with FL Studio, if they ever change their folder structure or how they do things, it doesn't pertain to me because I've organized my thing just like this. So we have albums, we have beat tapes. Let's go to volume 1. So you can see there's mixed. We have song name 1. We have the project. We also have the sounds, which I showed you right there. And that's it. All right. So it's not too complicated once you understand this process. And I'm telling you that when you sit down to make music, and let's say you save a project, and let's say it was because like the thing is when you make a beat, not every single beat is good. Okay. And so what I'm trying to say there is, let's say you make a beat and it's half decent. You're like, maybe I'll use it. It'll probably go in the unreleased. And even in here, you can even have like do not like. And in here, you can have all your projects. And sure, they're all unorganized, whatever. But at least you have one folder where all your unorganization is. Whereas here, maybe you could be like, maybe. And this is like all the projects which are like half decent, which you still have to work on. And then here, you can be like working on. If you want. Again, it can get quite intense if you do this. You don't have to do this, but I usually find that like the do not likes, these are the projects where like every time I open them up, I'm always just kind of like, I don't like it. So I just throw them in there. The maybes are the ones where I listen and it's like, it has potential, but it feels like there's going to be a lot of work to get it to sounding good. And the ones that are working on, or even you can go like, good or whatever. These are the ones that you open up and you're like, yeah, like I can work off that nice and quick. I feel that I can make a beat really fast and finish the beat. Okay. Cause that's kind of what I'm thinking of when I listen to this. The do not like, it's like, I don't like it. I don't want my name or my brand behind that beat. The maybe, this is like, I see potential. There's a lot of work. All right. The good. Yeah. Let's work with it when I have time. Okay. That saves me so much time. The released is if you're releasing singles, maybe. I don't do that. I just release the beat tapes and the albums, and this is like the easiest way to work. Okay. All right. I hope that video helps you guys out. I'm telling you, when it comes to all this stuff, when it comes to burnout, right? I'm telling you that a custom music folder, and I just showed you the custom music folder, the projects, the sounds. If you work with clients, you guys can figure out like your own way. But in my opinion, I would suggest creating a folder for each client you work with. All right. And then if you want to make notes or whatever, you can do all that stuff in there. Okay. So our next video, we're going to talk about a solid backup plan. We're going to, I'm going to write on a piece of paper and we'll just talk our way through that. Okay. Because again, this music folder is super powerful, but if it's not backed up, you can lose it all. And if you back it up in an easy way, then you're good to go. It doesn't matter what happens, right? You can load it up easily on a new computer.